Here's a question I hope we can answer relatively quickly. This is, how do you heal in your marriage from an emotional affair or a friendship that has crossed the line and gone too far? What may have been the cause for this happening, and what's the best way to prevent it? So I think this is just an emotional affair, something that's gone too far but not gone too far, if that makes sense. It's gone too far, but it's not gone too far. Does that make sense at all?
I think,
No?
well, I think if you've crossed the line in some way, I mean, it gets back to what you've been going over about forgiveness. I mean, the person who did it has to own up to what they did. Call them on that behavior. They have to own up to it. You hold them accountable. They apologize. They say they're sorry. I was wrong. I know I hurt you. I mean, those same steps that you would normally go through, I think you have to go through that. It's difficult, obviously, if it just keeps going on and on and on. That person needs some help. There's something in their life going on, or they wouldn't keep doing that. Especially, they'll say, well, I'm happy in my marriage, I love my spouse, but I'm still doing this. But what I see oftentimes is this gets started by, I'm just going to go to this party after school, or I'm just going to go to this thing after work. And then somebody is there, and there's some opportunity, and you start talking. But I've seen it too with Facebook, where people connect on Facebook, and if you have an affair with somebody that you don't know, a high percentage of the time you don't stick with that. But if you have an affair with somebody you do know, a high percentage of the time you do. So I think putting yourself in risky situations on social media, in the past, if we wanted to meet somebody that we used to date, we had to really search them out. You had to actively search them. Now you don't have to actively search them.
Just quick like or something.
It's quick like, yeah. So it's just, and I just wanted to be her friend to see what's going on with her. Most of the time there's no problem in that. But if you put yourself in compromising situations, sooner or later, if you do that enough, something bad seems like it's going to happen.
I don't know. You've got any thoughts on this?
Well, we talked about this early in marriage, that we were going to set some boundaries before they took place. And I think that would be a great thing in any relationship, just things that I would never do and things that you would never do to prevent exactly what you're talking about. There's no reason for me to go anywhere alone with another man, and vice versa with you. Those type of rules.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, in premarital counseling, that's something that we go over a lot of times, because I call it the old world and the new world. The old world is when you're dating, and there's certain parameters and certain boundaries there. But when you get married, there's different parameters, and you need to make sure that you're on the same page, because a lot of times if you don't talk about it, like if you don't go to marriage counseling or you never talk about it, you have your idea in your head about what that means, and you think, I can still go out with the guys every Thursday night to happy hour, or I can still go do this, I can still go to football games every weekend and deer hunting every weekend, and you don't feel that way. So you have to get on the same page right off the bat.
Right. And so, based on the question, the way it's stated is an emotional affair or a friendship that has just crossed the line. So, the good news is, I think, in there is that you caught it early. That it got caught too soon, and so now you want to build the boundaries. You want to come back. You want to pull back, and probably a thing that would concern you in this case is if that offending individual was not willing to pull back. Then your antenna might need to be up a little more. But if they regret it and clearly there's a change of pattern, then you need to allow forgiveness to reign and restore your relationship. You have a thought?
I think that I was just talking. I was thinking as you were saying that, is setting some kind of boundaries from here on out. Sometimes couples will say they're not going to go to a certain club situation, or they're not going to put themselves. They're not going to go to a happy hour, or they're not going to go out with old friends where old girlfriends are involved, unless the wife's there, and just setting those boundaries and holding yourself to those. But a lot of times people will say, well, you're just jealous and you don't trust me. Well, maybe there's reason for them not to trust.
That's exactly right. All right.